This is something that all XRP owners should be aware of. What I am going to tell you is neither a guess nor a story. Unquestionable blockchain data that demonstrates a deliberate action. The market is experiencing a silent supply shock that is unlike anything we have seen since 2017. Furthermore, not many people are actually listening. Over 20 whale wallets have transferred over 2 billion XRP into deep cold storage in the last days. Instead of trading, these wallets have a history of long-term accumulation. They're not preparing to sell. They are preparing to vanish from exchanges. Additionally, the market as a whole shifts as these whales move. This is not merely accumulating, it is preparing for a moment of liquidity that will transform everything. For a number of months, our team has been monitoring the price of XRP on the top lighting Binance, Bitstamp, Kraken, Coinbase, and the institutional corridors linked to Ripple. Whales sell, traders buy, and market makers occasionally rebalance the market. But that equilibrium has expressed dissatisfaction at the transfer of almost 90% of the XRP held by exchanges into private custody. Think about that for a moment. Many of the liquid XRP that the general public may purchase is being placed in banks where it won't be available for sale for years. This implies that the market maker's ability to prevent price fluctuations, order books, and liquidity are all disappearing. Add that to this Friday's events, one large bank will activate it for full production use. This bank has previously completed Ripple's Cross Better Liquidity Test program. Their system will immediately require cash when that occurs. It will therefore purchase it from the open market. Every day, hundreds of billions of dollars worth of transactions take place in these identical towers. The supply shortage will worsen once they begin searching for XRP to use. The truly frightening portion comes next. The whales are already aware that their transit to cold storage aligns perfectly with the institution's established live timeframe. They are responsible for it will be the largest liquidity event in history. Every coin cycle is a moment when whales take over because the general public isn't paying attention. It took place prior to the 2017 Bitcoin boom. It took place prior to Ethereum's DeFi boom. Now, the same thing is taking on here. Smart money has been surreptitiously withdrawing funds from the transactions as influencers quarrel about court cases and price projections. According to blockchain data, over 2 billion XRP, worth over 1 billion at this point, have been removed from circulation. These aren't your average motions. BitGo Fireblocks and Ripple's institutional custody partners provide as custodial systems for these multi-institutional grade cold wallet transactions. In other words, these wallets are not being prepared for trade, but rather for long-term payment use. This is where the trap is. There won't be a gradual increase in price when this supply shock occurs. Instead, before the typical trader can even log in, there will be a gap and the price will rise from its current level to triple digits. Small will be caught off guard by this. Providers of liquidity will cause exchanges to halt order books and spreads to expand. If your buy order never fills, you'll be left to watch the price chart go crazy. There's more to the whales than hoarding. Additionally, they are causing a shortage of liquidity, which will cause XRP to soar in response to the upcoming surge in institutional demand. Let's examine how this operates. For every market available float, or the quantity of supply that may be exchanged rapidly, is crucial. That float for XRP has been declining for some months. According to exchanges, the sums on the blockchain are at their lowest point ever. XRP's on-demand liquidity quarters have been increasing concurrently. Indeed, in the most recent quarter, Ripple processed over 30 billion worth of trade. XRP is required to shift value in each of those quarters. Because fewer people are trading markets, the amount of XRP available keeps decreasing as ODL usage increases and more of it comped up in operating flows. In case of a supply shock, this is excellent. The government's approval is the final layer. Given that the court ruling clarified that XRP as a U.S. institutions have been discreetly preparing to utilize it as payment, even though it is not a security to include cash movement between banks, company payments, treasury settlements, and real-world demand. These aren't speculation-based deals. Demand like that keeps coming in waves. Additionally, prices don't advance in a straight line when supply declines and demand continues to rise at leaps. This is precisely what will occur over the course of the next 72 hours. According to whale tracking, these large holders are putting coins in cold storage is linked to institutional grade custody systems, which are frequently managed by Ripple's corporate customers. This suggests that these whales may not even be human. They may be early Ripple partners, institutions, or specialists who are aware of the precise beginning of the next utility phase. They're not making any guesses. They are preparing for demonstrated utility demand. The pattern is the same for all wallets. A single significant aggregation into offline occurs after several weeks of small transactions. Storage. That indicates a deliberate build-up to a known event. Consider the consequences of these whales ceasing to provide financial support. The stores will discover that their order books are empty when the price increases and everyone rushes to buy. The whales won't sell because they aren't placing bets. Rather, they are awaiting the implementation of the new system. There won't be enough XRP on the platforms to satisfy everyone's demands. Then what happens? It is really expensive. This has occurred previously in micro form. Small supply issues might cause overnight increases of 30%, 50%, or even 100%. This time, however, a number of nations are connected via Ripple's new liquidity corridor, and there are a lot of institutions in line, including the one that goes live on Friday. The market appears to be in a state of calm before a storm. The atmosphere is neutral, the volume is modest, and the charts are flat. This is how it appears just prior to a supply explosion. Whales only hold millions of XP when something significant is the hype isn't the reason it's about to happen. They're carrying out a strategy that has been developed over several months. Even more intriguing is the fact that many of these wallets obtained their XRP directly from Ripple's initial distribution accounts, according to metrics from the chain. This is the final action taken by old connected money before it is activated. Markets indicate a decline in liquidity each day. Binance's total XRP order book depth at 2% spread has decreased by almost 60% during the last 2 weeks. You mean that if someone attempted to purchase even a few $1 million worth of XRP now, the price may immediately increase by a few percent. Now double that figure by the institution-specific demand, which is expressed in billions. The 200 price gap doesn't feel like it's that far away anymore. Knowing how supply relations operate makes it nearly inevitable. The price increases due to an imbalance rather than hype, and the gap has never been greater. Liquidity inversion is a term that insiders frequently use. When the amount of liquidity in the market is less than the quantity of liquidity required to make payments. In order to encourage more people to purchase the asset, the system immediately raises its price when that occurs. Because of a feedback loop, price finding is incredibly quick, and this Friday's event has the potential to make it happen. Many tiny investors aim to buy the breakout, ride the wave, and sell at the top if they have time to take action. But when institutional grade systems are deployed, the window of opportunity soon closes. People are slower than computer programs, exchanges do not allow withdrawals, and you won't be able to purchase it if you wake up one day to discover XRP at 100, 150, and 200. That is the appearance of a true supply shock. Hype isn't the point here. Finding out how whales infiltrate stores is the goal. They prevent the market from moving, give it a sense of security, and gradually increase its value until the very end. They stop the supply when there's sufficient demand, which drives up prices. The same actions are executed in each cycle, except the move has genuine advantages, and organizations worldwide are coordinating them at the moment. What does all of this mean in your opinion? The next 72 hours are critical. A scheduled institutional release, massive outflows from exchanges, and coordinated whale accumulation all suggest that the Bitcoin data is false over the next 7 days, a significant XRP trading event. You must either act or not because the trap has been set.